Welcome, I'm Jenna, and we will be working with the water-related meridians of the body today. What this means is a lot of spine work, a lot of work on the hamstrings and the inner thighs. You will need a wall space for this practice. It's not mandatory. I'll also give you an option if you don't have a wall space, but that's why I have a second mat set up here next to a wall space. So you might want to keep that in mind towards the end of the practice. Also, grab any props that you may have around the house. So yoga bolsters, yoga blocks, big couch pillows, normal pillows, blankets, whatever you have it ready so you can have a comfortable practice. We'll get started in seated butterfly. Bring the soles of the feet together out in front of you. Let the knees fall open. Since we are only at the beginning of the practice, you might want to sit on a folded blanket. Helps to elevate the hips and relax the hip flexors a little bit. Have a really open shape, so you want the feet far away from you. If you feel a lot of tension through the hip flexors, if the knees are lifted very high, put some blocks or something else to support the knees. However high you need to put the support. At the top, take a big breath in. See if you could elevate through the crown of the head a little bit more. As you exhale, tuck the chin in and begin to roll down, leading with the head. Some options here. You can have the hands on top of the feet, but try not to grab or pull. You can have the hands in front of the feet, have the palms facing up, then the shoulders can relax a little bit easier. Maybe it feels good to slide the hands underneath the shin bones. Maybe you're a little bit higher with the fingertips on the ground, but have your spine round. It's important that we get the opening on the whole back side of the upper body, the spine. If you have more props, maybe a really long bolster, put it on top of your feet so that you can just rest on it, or maybe stack some blocks there. Let's just take 3 clearing breaths to arrive. Through your nose, take a big breath in. Little pause at the top. Open your mouth and sigh it out. See if you could soften your forehead a little bit more. Again, big breath in. Pause at the top. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Can you soften your jaw a little bit more? One more big breath in. All the way to the top. Open your mouth, let it go. Let the shoulders glide away from the ears. Seal the lips and come into a soft, slow breath. See if you could let the belly move as you breathe. As you breathe in, the belly gets bigger. Breathe out, the belly relaxes. In, the belly gets bigger. Out, the belly relaxes. Stay close to the breath. Notice your body in this shape. Notice what is feeling tense or uncomfortable. Could you soften that part of your body? Keep your forehead relaxed. Keep your jaw soft. Separate the back teeth a little bit. Let the tongue be free in the mouth. Shoulders away from the ears. As you sit in these shapes, I want you to think of water. As you inhale, you feel this wave, this ripple forward through the spine. And as you exhale, you feel yourself melting down. It doesn't have to be movement that anyone can see, just this fluidity that you feel through the spine, through the whole body. Can you let the head hang a little bit heavier, surrendering completely? Last 3 breaths here. Keep the chin close to the chest. Next, inhale, slowly begin to roll up to seated. Keep the spine round, head comes up last. Use your hands to walk yourself up. Take a breath in at the top. Exhale fully. Place your hands on your shin bones. We'll find a little bit of movement through the spine in between the shapes. As you inhale, pull a little bit firmer onto the shin bones, pull the heart through. As you exhale, round, tuck the tailbone under. Like a seated cat-cow, move at your own pace. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, round back. Let the head move, mobilizing the neck as well. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Three more at your own pace. Take it slow, no rush. Next, inhale, come to center. Use your hands. Point the knees up. Plant the feet down as wide as your mat. Hands behind you. Little windshield wipers just to loosen up through the hip creases. Swaying the knees from side to side. And then settle into center and come lengthwise on your mat so you face the long side of your mat. We'll come into dragonfly or straddle or wide-legged forward fold. It has a lot of names. Same thing here, you can have a folded blanket to elevate the hips a little bit. Grab your thighs, make sure that they're fully soft, and wiggle your legs a little bit, making sure that the legs are completely relaxed. Doesn't matter if the feet flop out or in, just make sure that they stay completely relaxed. Have your props out in front of you to support you as you're gonna fold. Take a big breath in at the top, elevate a little bit more through the spine. As you exhale again, tuck the chin in and begin to roll down. Maybe you're somewhere here a little bit higher up, just making sure the spine is round, chin close to the chest. Maybe you have a bit more space to fold deeper. You can have the forearms on blocks. Very nice if you have a long bolster or a long couch pillow. You can stack it on top of blocks or books and kind of cuddle it. Maybe the forearms reach the floor. Might feel nice to put a block underneath the forehead or a tower of blocks. Wherever you have chosen to settle, make sure you can stay here for a while. Come into stillness. But even though you're in stillness, there is no need to be rigid. Your body is constantly moving. Your blood is flowing, the organs are working. Nothing is ever completely still in your body. So see if you could be one with that. Again, think of your spine like a wave. As you inhale, you ripple forward a little bit. As you exhale, you fold deeper. Make sure the legs are still completely relaxed. Soften the inner thighs. Thighs are soft. Relax your fingertips, soften your toes. Notice where you're resisting in your body. Notice where you're holding on to tension. Could you soften? Relax the forehead, soften the jaw. Shoulders away from the ears. And right about now, after a couple of minutes in the shape, you'll probably feel this more intense. That's totally normal. But with that intensity, maybe you also notice that the body is beginning to open up. This usually happens if you're able to relax into the shape, release the resistance. If you notice the body opening up, feel free to explore the shape a little bit deeper. If at any point throughout the practice you're feeling a lot of sensation in the body, you notice yourself getting distracted, you can take those clearing breaths that we did in the beginning at any point. Inhale through the nose, release through the mouth. One more minute. Usually that's 5 to 10 slow breaths, depending on your state and your lung capacity. Three more breaths. Keep the chin close to the chest. Let the spine round completely. Use your hands to lift yourself up. Head comes up last. Take a breath in at the top. Exhale completely. Again, we'll find a little bit of movement through the spine. So you want to have the fingertips out in front of you, a little bit wider than your shoulders. If it's really difficult for you to sit up straight like this, feel free to place your hands on blocks. So you can freestyle here, any intuitive movement through the spine. So if you'd like to find kind of like a wave-like motion, feel free to do that. Maybe you'd like to find some circles. Again, since the legs are a little bit more open now, maybe it's a little bit easier to move deeper. Let the head and the neck move with the spine, no resistance there. It doesn't have to look any linear way, any structured way. Try not to overthink the movement. Maybe you're just rolling out the neck. Might feel really nice after the forward folds. Maybe you're rolling the shoulders. Breathe. Let's take 3 more breaths. And slowly settle into center. Maybe you notice you have a little bit more freedom to sit up a bit taller. Use your hands at the back over the knees. Bend the knees. Again, windshield wipers, hands behind you. Feel free to linger a little bit longer on each side, gazing over the opposite shoulder, adding a little twist. Come to center, turn forward again towards the top of your mat, extend the legs out in front of you. We'll come into caterpillar. For this one, I want you to feel supported. So this probably means that you need to bring something underneath the knees. I have blocks here, maybe you have a bolster. And probably also something on top of your legs. Use as many props as you need to. And support yourself as high as you need to. Take a big breath in at the top. See if you could elevate a little bit more. Your legs are completely relaxed. Maybe the feet flop out. As you exhale, begin to roll down. So I want your upper body to rest on something. Let the head hang completely. Maybe stack some more props underneath the head. You can also just have your elbows on your blocks in between the legs and have your forehead on your hand palms. Just making sure you tuck the chin in. Now you're opening up into the whole back line of the body, which might feel quite intense. That's totally normal. Why I love all these water-themed poses is that a lot of them are very introspective, and for a lot of people, this introspection might be intimidating, but since you're all here, since you're yogis, I'm sure you love diving deep within. But it doesn't take away the fact that a lot of the times we avoid stillness, we avoid looking within because we might be scared of what there is, what we might find, what we might discover. Facing our deepest fears, our deepest wounds, and just sitting with them. So honoring your experience, whatever it is here. See if you could surrender to the moment. Stay with the breath. If that's all that you do, that's a really big accomplishment.
See if you could allow the head to hang a little bit heavier. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Separate your teeth a little bit, don't bite your tongue. At any point, feel free to sigh it out. Last 3 breaths. Again, keep the chin close to the chest and slow it down as you rise up. Use your hands next to the legs to walk yourself up, slowly coming up to seated. Whew. Remove your props, bend your knees. Have the heels as close to yourself as you wish. Makes it a little bit more loose, the shape, if you have the heels further away from you. Grab behind the thighs with your hands. And begin to find this cat-cow shape through the spine. As you inhale, pull the heart forward. As you exhale, round back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Keep moving at your own pace. Really allowing the head to move naturally as you move the spine. Inhale as you expand. Exhale as you round. Once more. Then inhale, come into neutral in the center to seated. We'll move up to a wall space, and if you don't have a wall space, I'll give you an option. We'll come into a modification of Sphinx. So you won't need any props for the Sphinx. What you might want to have handy is a blanket for the rest of the shapes. So for Sphinx, set up your forearms underneath the shoulders, your forearms on the mat, elbows underneath the shoulders. And the variation that I'm going to give you with the wall is that you'll come close to the wall. You'll bring your knees and your shin bones onto the wall. This will add more of a back bend into Sphinx. And then you bring the upper body into Sphinx. What I like to do here is to bring the hands onto opposite elbows. I just find that it brings a little bit more support. So here, take your time to wiggle yourself close to the wall so that your knees and your shin bones are against the wall. Roll the shoulders back, expand through the front of the body. If you find that this is way too much for a back bend, do regular Sphinx, scoot to the front of the mat, same shape with the upper body, but the legs are extended behind you and you can separate the feet, the legs as wide as you need to. Look forward just past your arms so you keep the back of the neck long. Relax the shoulders down. Make sure your buttocks are completely soft. Let the hips sink down heavily. Maybe you feel some sensation on the lower back, some tingling in the kidney area, a relief in the lower back, especially if you let the hips sink down super heavy. If you don't feel anything, don't worry about it. Just close your eyes and breathe.
Notice your forehead. Can you make it soft? Release the space between your eyebrows. Your eyelids are heavier and your gaze is soft behind the eyelids. Soften your jaw. Feel the neck spacious, shoulders away from the ears. A lot of space in the throat and the neck area to connect the head and the heart so that they can work together, so that they can guide you onwards together. See if you could let the hips become a little bit heavier with each breath out. And with this, noticing the relief in the lower back. In this back bend, whichever variation you're doing, we're stimulating the kidneys, which in the Chinese medicine theory house the life force within us. And when we stimulate the kidneys, we can also release any fears, because the fears can get stuck and stagnated into the kidneys or into the meridian lines that run throughout the body. Last 3 breaths here. Notice where you could soften a little bit more. And now if you're in the variation with your legs up the wall, I'm going to be honest, there is no graceful way of coming out of here. I'm just going to roll onto the left side of my body and draw the knees to my chest. In any case, come lay down on your back so that you can bring the legs up the wall. So you want to snuggle one hip close to the wall, and then you slide down on your back and extend your legs straight up the wall. You may need to wiggle around a little bit to get the buttocks close to the wall. And what might be nice is a folded blanket underneath the head, just to lift the head slightly. Helps to neutralize the neck. The legs don't have to be straight. Have them at least hip-width apart, so you don't have to clench in the inner thighs or in the hip flexors, and feel free to bend them if this is a lot for you. The arms can be alongside the body, separated a little bit further away from the body, maybe extended next to the ears, just dangling there. Now take a big breath in, send it to your tailbone. As you exhale, feel the tailbone coming heavier towards the floor.
Let the hips sink down towards the ground. Make sure the legs are completely relaxed. If this means that you need to soften the knees a little bit, feel free to give yourself the permission to do that. Maybe you notice some tingling in your toes, some vibrations throughout the legs as the energy begins to draw back to the heart and to the head. This will feel especially refreshing if you spend a lot of your day on your feet, on your legs, and who doesn't? I think we all spend most of our day like that instead of our feet and our legs above the head. You can close down the eyes and just observe the body. Notice where you might be resisting a little bit, where it's hard to release the tension. Give that area a little bit more extra love. Send your breath there and allow the exhales to melt the tension, the discomfort away. Stay as you are. Let's take 3 more breaths. And from here, just begin to open the legs to the sides. Keep the legs completely relaxed, letting the gravity take over, opening the legs. If this feels like way too much, feel free to bring the soles of the feet onto the wall, kind of like a happy baby shape. But maybe this feels really good, very low effort, no need to do anything here. Just hanging, breathing. Keep your bum close to the wall, let the hips sink down heavy. Feel your spine grounded all the way from the tailbone to the back of the neck. See if you could fully soften the inner legs. Last 3 breaths here. Place your hands at the back sides of the knees. Start to slowly bend the knees. Brings the soles of the feet onto the wall if they weren't there already. Just take a breath here. And then you can hug the knees into the chest and roll onto the left side of your body. Take a moment in fetal position. And then you can slowly make your way up to seated. Come into a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. If you'd like to rest in Shavasana for a little while longer to allow the benefits of the practice sink into your body, feel free to do so. Otherwise, if you're seated, just take a big breath in and a complete breath out. Notice how the body feels. Maybe noticing how it feels now to have the head on top of the heart and the heart on top of the legs. Thank you for joining me for this practice. It was my honor guiding you through. Namaste.